The following program is sponsored by John Chachis Insurance, your local farmers insurance agent located at 800 Avenue G in Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Ely TV, Channel 3-2 in Ely, Nevada. Ely City Council meeting, June 27th, 2013.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We got first year tonight for the invitation. Yeah, if there's no third night here, I'll just say, God bless Holy Spirit on this building.
Hallelujah.
Here.
Councilman Soderstrom.
Here.
Councilman Durbridge.
Present.
Councilman Lee.
Here.
Councilman Westland.
Here.
Councilman Townsend.
Present.
City Attorney Briggs.
Here.
City Treasurer Trask. Here. City Clerk Allworth is absent. City Fire Chief Rivera. City Engineer Umber.
Here.
City Building Inspector Christensen is absent. City Water Sewer Supervisor Jenkins.
Here.
City Landfill Street Supervisor Short.
Here.
City Parks Animal Control Supervisor Craycraft.
Here.
That's all, Mayor.
Okay, with that, we're going to public comment on our side for the agreements for those to be accepted from the general public and attended. If any are made, there may be an objection upon comment. Everybody all right out there?
We need to have the mic turned up a little bit. We can't hear you, Mayor.
Mike, can you go over there and get enough room?
It could be that it's not close enough to us. Well, I know, and they could need to turn it down, but he just needs to get closer to the mic.
Never had to before.
Yeah, this is too close to
Always
that
done
mic.
this.
That's a little better.
Got better now?
Yeah.
Try that. We got it up a little too high, isn't it? If we can get the feedback. Okay, we ready to go? Okay, comments during discussion items will not be accepted from the general public. Section 8.04 of the Nevada Open Meeting Law Manual indicates that the public body may prohibit comment if the content of the comment is a topic that is not relevant or to or within the authority of the public body, or if the content of the comments is woefully disrupted by the meeting by being irrelevant, rational, repetitious, slanderous, offensive, inflammatory, rational, and mounting personal attack, interfering with the rights of other speakers. So that was open for public comment. Don't be bashful. Come on up here. Can you get in there all right? You gotta climb up and get a 4-foot thing you gotta climb up.
Well, Mr. Mayor and City Councilman, I'm Ken Cleaver, the General Manager of KELY radio station. And in case you missed it, this morning I gave a commentary about about cleaning up the community. I thought the community cleanup that we had about a month ago was a good idea, and that it did help to improve the community. However, I looked at some areas that really concerned me, and that was areas that were around vacant lots and alleyways and that sort of thing. I feel that the areas there, because of the way the weather has been, they've grown up a bunch of weeds, and they are a real danger, a real fire danger in this area. That concerns me for the residents, because, and to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure about who is responsible for cleaning it up. You look at an alleyway. Is that alleyway supposed to be cleaned up by the residents on either side of it, or is that supposed to be cleaned up by the city? And if it is by the city, I would heartily suggest that that be taken care of just as soon as possible, because we're going to have a heat wave coming up this weekend. I know we're going to get up to close to 100-degree weather and have a fire danger. And if it's not the city, but is up to the residents, then I'm sure there's something on the books for enforcement of this, because what happens with people that are on there, they need to be made aware of this, and they need to be able to clean it up, or have some kind of enforcement on the books to take care of that. I would like to, for one, push the essence of the fire safety. I'd like to ask this to be an agenda item to do it. If you want, I would be more than happy to run public service messages about warning people about the fire danger over the radio, and say the word, and I'll do that.
You do an editorial less than 3 minutes.
Huh?
Time's up. You do an editorial in less than 3 minutes. Your time's up. You didn't hear the buzzer?
Okay, I didn't hear the buzzer, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, who else would like to make a public comment? John? If it's on that agenda, John, I'll just let you know you will have a chance to speak.
Okay, that was my point.
Okay.
I'll see your ears.
Might be best. You won't be limited.
Okay.
Mr. Thatcher?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, you've heard me before, and I'm bringing this up again. You've yet to address the proper safety barrier along Winter Road where now we're going to put in a new substation. What is now there is insufficient. It needs to be extended another 30 feet. The back end of the alley has no safety barrier at all. Drainage coming from the substation area needs to be properly addressed and not dumped over the bank onto the cemetery. That's the responsibility of those people who affected that particular area. Mr. Mayor, I asked you at the last meeting, I've not received any information. Reading the Sheriff's Butter Report, May 2nd, 2013, the city filed a complaint regarding theft of city utility. I asked who filed the complaint, who was the person who cited, what board addressed the issue, and what was the outcome. And was it addressed by the city council? I haven't missed any meetings, and I don't believe he's done any of that. Mr. Mayor, the county is about to break ground, or has broken ground, for the construction of the new pool on property which I thought was school property, but evidently it's been deeded to the county. They have yet to apply for a building permit, and they have yet to apply for well surface water and sewer service. At the last meeting I went to, they think that you guys are just going to give it up. You just increased everybody's fees 30 to 40%, and for you to give away fees now is ludicrous. Government entities need to talk to one another. And you guys aren't doing that, and you're not going to keep coming back to the taxpayer and asking for more. You set your rules and regulations down, assess them equally and fairly. It appears that you're selectively enforcing law, and that needs to stop. Mr. Mayor, today you have yet to address as to why you're charging the White River Museum residential rates and charging commercial rates for my home when I'm not in business. I am again requesting a response in writing or the basis for your refusal. Federal law clearly states that you may not discriminate. You meaning the city. must not discriminate in any federally funded or assisted public utility. Also, and again requesting a copy of the State Senator Pico Bachia's landfill billing, which he stated at the county commission meeting was approximately $500 or more without penalties or interest. Why are some people treated differently? Mr. Mayor, I've asked in the past and I'm asking again, has the county paid for the water used at the golf course, and has the city collected any monies as addressed by the memo dated April 26, 2012 from Jeanette Trask? The water value was estimated at $93,058, and that's just for 1 year. If there's more than that, you've got a lot of money sitting out there, and it's not where it should be. Last meeting, Mr. Mayor, I asked for any kind of disclosure from Mr. Ron Luciano or Mr. Biden, and I've not received anything on items that they had a conflict with. I'd like to get some kind of answer. Mr. Mayor,
Okay, George?
are we going to be able to address any of the items during the agenda?
I'll tell you what I'll do, George, at the end, that's the last comment. Why don't you take 3 of these things that you mentioned and ask the new city council to put it on the agenda for you? How about that?
Well, why don't you provide me for the
Why don't you
information?
have them put it on the agenda? I'm sure one of
You're the one in charge, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, George. And you can address it at the end of the public comment. I'm trying to be as fair as I can.
Okay.
Don't be slow.
Well, you've got a long way to go.
Okay, all right, thank you. Go back to the camera. Anybody else for public comment? We got all these people here, nobody wants to make comments? Here comes one more.
Send back to my seat. Because it may come up under number 5.
There's a seat over there.
Because, believe it or not, I was considering, or composing in my mind, a letter to the city council regarding the animal control, which I think is horrible. But could I speak after that, or should I make my spiel now?
A lot of people here from the zoo that want to lead on that. Very good.
Okay, now, this is...
Follow.
Hmm?
Follow that. This wants to be coming.
Okay. I've had my backyard really left out because I thought I would like to provide an animal resort to veterans who have to leave town for medical care and do it for free. And then I also object strongly to the manner in which I have heard the animals are destroyed out here after 3 days. 3 days and you're doomed. That's wrong. 3 days and the owner should be doomed. Instead of all this, if people let their animals run or be a nuisance, charge the people. And if they want unneutered animals, let them pay a breeding fee. I mean, there's a different approach than what we've had, and that's just the nutshell. How many minutes have I got left? But anyway, I do, it said here in number 5, using volunteers to help adopt out dogs and cats. I have a huge backyard. And like I said, my son came in and man, he knocked down all the old, I've got more space now than I had before. And I could take dogs, if they're companionable to mine, who's neutered, until they were adopted out. I mean, I don't have shelter for them right now, but my house is open to the dogs, but that wouldn't be feasible. But I would be more than willing to be a volunteer. But why can't people go to the animal control building? In posting of pictures of animals taken by animal control to eliminate citizens going to the animal control building.
Well, we're bringing that up on.
Oh, okay. But anyway, I volunteer and I've got a lot of space. I don't have individual kennels yet, but I looked into animal resorts and they're fabulous. The animals, if they're neutered, are allowed to, according to size, mingle with each other, and they're separated only at night and feeding times. And I think that's fantastic. And that's what I was wanting to do for the veterans who have to go in for medical care. I take care of those animals free. And my son already mucked my yard out, so I can tell if there's any tainted food put over the fence again. I can find it before this dog of mine gets murdered again. I mean, not again, like my other dog was murdered. But it's all cleared out, so I stand a chance of finding tainted meat this time. And the zoo almost didn't let me have the animal I have now because of it. And people may not want to leave their animals with me because of it. But the boundary of my yard is cleared out now to where I can check for anything tossed over the fence like it was last time. But anyway, he's going to address this, but I do volunteer for that.
What's your
But 358 Ogden Avenue, and it's got a big wooden fence. But somebody's still got to my
I'm going to move on when you talk. Anybody else for public comment? Watch out.
Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Francis, and I'm the finance director with West Plain County. And I'm here to address the item under new business number 4, the request from the county to the city. And I didn't know if you wanted to speak at this time or wait until that agenda item comes up. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else for public comment?
I'm Laura Johnson. I live at 540 Crawford Avenue. I had read in the paper where this meeting goes into a private club after the meeting. And I don't know if this is the proper place for us to be holding this. I know that we pay and we have things with the city and the county. And I don't like the idea that you get invited out and it looks like that they don't like you to be here to wait for Jennifer Lee or somebody to get on some paperwork and stuff that reverts to a private club. And I'm wondering if we cannot look at maybe using the library or something in that order to where we can have a public meeting in a public place to where you're not invited out. To me, that just doesn't make me feel good when certain people are invited because it reverts back to a public club. And that bothers me when you can't stop to say and to speak to somebody because it's a private club. And maybe we can barter. You know, what we have to do with the city council and the county commission and stuff. Maybe we can look at using the library or a public facility to where it's not a private club. Because I think you should be able to speak or talk to somebody in or out, and you should be invited to get out of this because it's reverted to a public club when you're at a public meeting. Do we have a certain amount of hours that we can be here, or a certain amount of minutes, or whatever? Because I heard Charlie Bassett say, I'm a volunteer fire department, and you're not going to put this person out. Because I'm inviting them to stay. I think that if you need to ask a question, or you want some public information, or you want to get on to the agenda, to get an agenda sent to your house, because there's never enough here. We have to borrow, we have to, and I realize that, but I think this shouldn't be a private club where we have a public meeting. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Going once? Going twice? All right, we'll close public comment and go on with the agenda. Number 3, City Department report, Fire Department and Fire Chief. We have a report. Ross is here, I don't believe.
There's in the bottom back there.
Good Lord, he's behind me.
Get back at the wall.
Anything you want to add, Ross? Oh, you're wearing a red shirt. No wonder I could have said.
Nothing to add.
We have your report. Police chief, we have his blog. City clerk is not here. Anything, anything? Okay, city attorney?
I've got a number of things here. First of all, we did attend the Local Leaders Council, Local Leaders Institute workshop in Eureka a week ago last Saturday. Randy Lee did come, Councilman Lee. Appreciated his presence there along with myself and Jeanette. I did receive an email this week that the next one, which is going to be just a repeat of that, it seems to me like, is going to be in Fernley on July 19th, 20th, and 21st. Instead of 2 days, they're going to do 3 days because they're going to do a Friday afternoon, all-day Saturday, and Sunday morning instead of all-day Saturday and all-day Sunday. So if you can attend that, that would be great. While I was at that training, I did pick up a few things that I wanted to share with you. First one is your copy of the Nevada Ethics in Government Manual. I think I've passed those out before. I've got a couple extra copies if anybody wants one.
Hold one for me, Counselor.
Will do, George. And then I've also got a flyer or a little brochure that they prepare on the Nevada Commission on Ethics. And then there is just kind of a breakdown of the Nevada State Code of Ethics, so just a one-page sheet for you here, kind of a cheat sheet with regards to the ethics rules. And then finally, I do also have a handout that we received the last time we had a training that was put on by Cool Pack for us. It's just a handout in search of civility. Since we've got a couple new people on the council, I thought that you might want a copy of that as well. I also, this month's Nevada Lawyer focused on municipal things, and one of the things that I wanted to do, there is the role of an attorney representing a public body during meetings and things, and one of the things that it pointed out, I just wanted to reiterate, that you guys should be encouraged to discuss with council any foreseeable public body action or individual member action/conduct if a member is uncertain of its legality under the open meeting law. So as you hit various things that come up, then if you've got questions, please contact me, and we can go over those to try and keep everybody out of trouble as much as we can. And is that everything? It seemed like there was one other thing, but I can't remember what that is, so I'll finish there.
City Engineer?
I got a few items. Based on our last council meeting, one of the things that was requested of us was to give us a phone back and go up and review, look at his waters, how his water's hooked up there. Ron had set up a meeting with that. We met with Rutherford earlier this week, and basically what's happening up there is there's an 8-inch connection coming off the 6-inch line. He takes that water under city pressure up the hill for a ways, and then he has got a private pump house. Within that pump house, he has some pumps, and he pumps up to a private tank up on the hill that will serve his residence. He has installed a new well up there that's been there a while. The well, he's informed us, is what he's watering all his trees with, so he's not using city water on his trees. And he basically took us to Hall's facility. One of the things that I was very concerned about, once it was mentioned in the meeting that he's pumping up on the hill. If he's pumping up on the hill, it means he's higher pressure than us, meaning that if something was to go wrong, that water can come back into our system and basically be of concern of the order that we just read last time, our cross-connection control situation, trying to prevent that. He has 2 backflow preventers up there on his property. He's got 2 check valves up there. I believe that they were probably put in to assist his system so that once he pumps up the hill, it doesn't come back down. But at the same time as it helps him, it's helping us. It's protecting us from that water coming back in here. So based on what we had seen up there, I felt pretty comfortable with what he has going there. If those check valves were ever to fail or allow water to come back in the system, he's going to know about it because he's going to continue to pump water. That water gets up in his tank, so it's going to come on down the hill and it's going to pump. And so it's something that he will notice, additional use of water, additional pumping costs, if he ever had a fail of his backflow there. Let me see what else we got here. what also we've done is we went from that meeting and we prepared our Stevens Avenue water replacement to go into that RTC project. Both basically plans are done, completed, finalized, and we're going to get them out to contractors in the morning. I just wanted to, I have them with me and had one more check over them before I put them out on the street to get some prices. And so our intention of that is Monday after the 4th of July, we'll receive bids back from them and hopefully get them contractors to work on that project ASAP. Also along that same area down there with Stevens Center Street, this week the contractor's been mowing in, getting traffic control cones down in that area. He's mowing in there, doing some minor work, getting his equipment down there, and intends to hit work full time on Monday down there. So that project will be underway.
When's that project going to be done?
September 15th, or I believe is what it is, but that's off the top of my head. I could be wrong. I could check. Let me see here. Another thing that we've also done, we've had multiple meetings with Ron, just going over his city system. He just wanted to kind of show me some areas that he has concern that he deals with on his maintenance on a regular issue, or things that he would like to get fixed in the future. So we've had multiple meetings and drive-bys around the community, look at different projects, potential upgrades in the city system. And I think, and then there's another little thing that we have done as far as on our side. We went and just to get some more information together for us, we've taken, and as we have time and our surveyors are out working to make it as easy as we can for us, we're going through and we're checking elevations of all our tanks, wells. I want to get accurate elevations together so that we can analyze our system and make sure help us make decisions down the road if we make any improvements to the system. So, any questions? Oh, well, one last thing I guess I also want to say. I also touched base with your department heads looking to get copies of their permits. The reason I requested that from them was because since we are now no longer in a situation where we're just kind of in an interim as engineers for you guys or on through the longer term, I felt it would be in the best interest for us to be able to assist the city and guide the city is to have copies of those permits, have them in my office, and just so that I'm up to speed with what's required of those permits, so that any questions they may have, they call me, I already have it in front of me, I'm up to speed with it. You know, they'll still maintain and take care of the majority of stuff and seek my advice when needed, but I think to better serve the city, I need to have that information for myself and be up to speed with what they need. So I request that from them, and they were both very helpful and helping me out do that. So, all right, thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, with that, we'll go on to number 4, items for discussion, possible action of the city council. Number 1, council members discussion, possible action, election of Mayor Pro Tem, who also serves as the chairman of the Nevada Northern Railway Board of Trustees. This is what the city council, I don't appoint anybody here. They appoint and somebody makes a motion, so we'll have to need the discussion. If you're not sure what the Mayor Pro Tem is, that's the vice mayor. That's the guy when not here. Okay. Wants to start it out, wants to make a motion.
I move that Bill Durbridge be nominated as the Mayor Pro Tem.
Have a second?
Second that.
All in favor? Any other discussion? Are you accepting, Dale?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Dale Durbridge is now the new Pro Tem. I think I'll call him 2 weeks from now. And just to test you out. And you're also the chair of the Nevada Northern Railway. So going to that, number 5, the mayor will recess the regular city council meeting for a meeting of the Nevada Northern Railway Board of Trustees. And with that, we'll put this one down. I'll turn it over to the chairman.
I'll open the meeting for the Northern Nevada Railway Board of Trustees. The first agenda item is discussion, action, and election of the vice chair. Need a nomination for
second that.
You hate me, don't you? Any other nominations? I'll call for a vote. All in favor, Sam? Aye. Opposed? I abstain. Sorry, please, Sam.
Thank you.
A second item on agenda is Board Member City Attorney Briggs discussion / possible action approval of the resolution 20133/04, resolution to the exchange of real property between the city of Ely, the railroad, and Mike Lennox. Kevin.
This resolution was sent out yesterday to all of you guys via email. We had some extra copies here. Essentially, this is just indicating that it is in for the half that you have on currently, it is in the best interest of the Nevada Northern Railway. I can report that a similar resolution was prepared for the management board at their meeting last Thursday? And that passed unanimously with their board to complete this land transfer between the city of Ely and the railroad and Mike Lennox. If you've got a copy of the resolution there that has the map attached to it, you'll notice the red triangle on the front and the small little red triangle on the back. That's the property that we are transferring to Mike Lennox, and the green property, the 3 alleys and the area between the right-of-way in that Y that belongs to Mike Lennox, he's transferring that jointly to the city and to the railroad. The property, clearly we're receiving much more property than we're transferring, but the property that we are transferring, it is such a small amount that there really is no commercial use for that property except to an adjoining landowner, and that's why that falls out of the provisions where we would have to go get appraisals done. So that's essentially where it's at. You have to, the law requires that you pass a resolution showing that it is in the best interest. The statute is actually a statute that deals with the city, but because it's also, we're dealing with railroad property or as joint owners, we thought it would just be simpler and clearer to just add the Board of Trustees part of this. You will be dealing with this as a city councilman as well.
Did I read correctly that one of those small parcels is 231 square feet?
Yes, the one on the back side there.
Yeah, I think we're getting a much better deal here. I would make a motion that we accept that proposal.
We have a second.
Second, but I would like to offer some discussion on the resolution, Kevin. I'll leave that up to you. I think that this should be, the real property is held with the White Pine Historical Railroad Foundation, not the Nevada Northern Railroad. I'll leave you to check that.
And I am still, that's why you don't have a deed with this. I'm verifying the legal names that we need to have on the deed, but I will get those.
I was just thinking about the wording on the resolution. We might want to get that right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did you second Mark?
Yes, I did. Was there any other discussion?
Question.
George.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I believe in the deed that the Kennecott Corporation, in which it gave the city the property as a gift, there was a stipulation that no assets would be removed or sold. And my only question is, did you folks resolve with them whether or not you can make this land exchange without it reverting back to Kennecott? That's a major concern of mine. Other than that, I don't have a problem with the trade. But I remember that specifically. It's not there. And I've asked some of you folks to look at that in the past. That needs to be clarified. Also, there was no resolution or a map in my packet. There was nothing for anyone in the audience to see what's going on. Did anybody research that deed?
I did not research that. We
Well,
do
indeed,
have.
I mean, it would be in the agreement that when Kennecott gave us, though.
We do.
Were you the attorney there, Rich?
I was an attorney there.
Oh, you still, I know you're an attorney still, but were you the city attorney when that happened?
Not when the gift was made, but I was.
The gift was made in the late 80s.
It was,
Yeah, he wasn't.
Well, Rich is pretty old.
Not that old.
definitely that old, but didn't happen to be in Ely at the time. I was practicing in Seattle. But I have reviewed the deed and have spoken with Kennecott, probably 10 years ago about that issue.
Who'd you talk to?
The president of Kennecott at the time, I can't remember his name.
And they had no
And their
problem.
legal counsel. They had no intention of ever enforcing the reversion.
That's hearsay. I'd like to see something in writing.
Thank you, George. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Close this meeting of the Board of Trustees. City Council.
All right, with that, we'll reopen the Ely City Council. Consent agenda is number 6, items for discussion, possible action of the City Council. You guys all know, figured out what the consent agenda is. Okay, and it's on the discussion, possible action on the minutes and possible action on the paying of the bill. Any questions? Any motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we'll pay the bills. B, new business. Number 1, council members. Tina Pachetti. LP Insurance Services, discussion possible action, acceptance of renewal of proposals from the Nevada Public Agency, Insurance Board, and Public Agency Compensation Trust, and approval of permit or payment from fiscal year 2013-14.
Wayne Carlson, also for the presentation. As previously mentioned by Tina Pachetti, your agent for the pool impact policies for the renewal for the fiscal year 2013-2014.
Wayne Carlson, Executive Director of the Nevada Public Agency Insurance Board.
What we just handed out, and I have extra copies for Georgia who might want some, is actually the renewal for this year, the information that I usually bring to you. The information that it's giving you on the first page is just giving you some information about the pool. It tells you the year that the pool was established, information that we provided to you in the past, but it's in there again for your review. As you move through the packet, the second page just shows you all of the other members of the pool that are participating with you, the counties, the towns, school districts, cities, etc. So it tells you who your company, who is in there with you. Following that page gives you some information about coverage. It's just a basic overview for coverage. It's not intended to give you all information of your coverages, but it does give you a brief synopsis of the coverages that are awarded in your policy. As we move to the final page, the next page, which goes over some things about some combined single limits, again, some information about your policy. In addition to this year, some information about cybersecurity, because that's a growing concern in the world today. Gives you information about that, as well as the total cost, commission, and program costs for you for this year. There's some graphs and some information following that show you some information about the frequency of claims for the pool, the severity of the claims for the pool, so you can see the trends year over year, and that's sometimes helpful when you're reviewing this. The next page is more specific information about the City of Ely. The City of Ely's payroll trends year over year, total insured values, the trends for that, as well as the number of autos insured, and finally claims specifically for the City of Ely and premium trends. As you can see for this year, your premium is down from last year. So it gives you all that information that you'll
I
have.
don't know that you've got those pages.
We're not finding them.
You got the general stuff, but nothing.
I apologize when I found it.
specific to you.
Okay, I'll leave those with you. I have more copies, I just must not have gotten them down. But I do have the specific information, so I'll leave that with you. I apologize for that. You're happy you're not blind?
Yes.
In the back of that packet is the information about the cyber coverage. And Wayne will talk to you a little bit more about that, as well as the marketplace and the things that the Home Impact did to continue this coverage and continue to improve it. So I'll let him talk to you about that, and then if you have any questions for me.
As a matter of history, for those that are new, the pool started 25 years ago by 4 founding counties. It grew to 10 cities and counties that first year, and now we have 111 members. We had 112 until the Persian Tourism Authority merged into the county as a department, and that just happened last week. So it's focused on the rural entities, the smaller government entities. We do not have the large urban centers by design, but we have a variety of members. We provide a package of coverage for you, as Tina outlined, and one of the things we added to that package this year was this cyber event coverage. And what this is designed to do is to protect the city in the event that someone breaches your IT system and gets protected information. Certain information is public information, so that would not be a cybersecurity event, but certain other information is protected private information. That information is like medical and healthcare information, whether it's on your employees or on a member of the public. Social security numbers, credit card numbers, driver's license numbers, those are protected by state and or federal law, and so those are also protected. And then there may be other personally identifiable information that will fall under the broad brush of the statute for protection. What the state law says is that if there is a breach of that private information, it shouldn't be out in public, but somebody breaches your system, then there are certain requirements that are triggered to notify those persons affected. And it may go so far as to require you to do credit monitoring on those people as well. They may sue for damages. So this coverage extension adds a $2 million limit in the event they sue you for damages. On the next page, there's another aspect of the coverage called the privacy response expense. And here, because most of us are not computer experts, and most of our members don't have their own in-house sophisticated IT security people, and even the ones they contract for that service may not have that expertise. But if there's a reported event, then these experts will guide you through the process, and the first thing they'll work to do is identify whether or not it qualifies as a breach of private information, which triggers these other laws and notification requirements. If it is, they'll guide you through the process. What do? How do you do the notice? What does the notice have to contain? And they'll guide you through that. They'll also guide you through the public relations aspect of it, because there is certain things that you need to communicate to the public, and it will be helpful if you communicate it accurately, and that helps mitigate the potential for litigation. Another part of it, if you have to do credit monitoring, it will pick up the expense for doing that credit monitoring. So these are a number of the features of this additional coverage. The pool decided not to charge anything for this exposure, We have done well in terms of gains on the program due to reduced losses for the members as a whole. And so we thought we could invest some of that back into protecting the members in this area. Now, let me give you a couple of situations. There's first of all, the electronic hacking that can get your information. The second is what's called social engineering. And this is where somebody spoofs an employee into giving up password access. And if that happens, that's equally a breach. And so this could happen if, say, you have an IT contractor and they get a new employee and they call up and say, I need to know your password in order to fix your system because you have a problem on your computer. I need you to install something to fix it. If an employee doesn't know what to do, to verify their identification and to verify that that's okay, then they might inadvertently give them the password and give them access to the system and they can do what they demand. The other way that can happen is an incident that occurred with one of our members. It was a fire district that does ambulance billing. And they use a national firm to do the billing. But what happened here was an employee of a private contractor was taking those ambulance billing sheets, which included this personally identifiable information, and selling printouts of that, which to what turned out to be a Russian mafia, who was then filing tax returns and getting big tax refunds. And it was discovered by an individual who filed his own tax return, and the IRS told him, you've already filed it. And he said, no, I didn't, and that launched an investigation. That's the next thing, and they caught it. Fortunately, that contract between the firm that was doing the billing was sufficient that they were obligated to respond to the security event and send the notifications out on behalf of the district. And the district got the calls of those that had been transported. And so they had to respond. But fortunately, this firm and their contract had provisions to do that. So that's another area where we can assist you through our experts is to help you make sure your contracts adequately put the burden of our law on the persons who have breach. The other thing is an FBI security expert showed us how strengthening passwords can help you a lot, assuming you don't give them up voluntarily. For example, if you use common English words, and I like to say this so the rest of the public hears it for their own personal protection as well. If you use common English words, it will take them about 3 seconds to discover your password. Because there's a scrolling dictionary within the system. If you take, like many people, you'll start your password with a capital. Because that's how you write most words. When you write your name, it's a capital. When you write the beginning of the sentence, a capital. Don't do that. Start with lowercase and put the capital somewhere randomly in the middle of the password. Add a number. That'll increase it to 19 seconds. And we're still not getting anywhere, are we? It's that big one. But add a couple of symbols, like the @ sign, pound sign, exclamation points, things like that. Add 2 of them in the middle, or somewhere at the middle of the end, or somewhere in that password, and that time increases to 2,000 years. That's a simple tool to help protect public records, private information, and at home. So that's just a suggestion from an FBI security expert that I want to pass on to you folks. Any questions about the cybersecurity?
Well, just one question. Thank you for the explanation. So this handout that you gave us, cybersecurity, would I be correct to go ahead and just add that on that page, Public Agency Insurance Pool Coverage Summary?
It's shown on there.
Okay, did I miss it?
Just below the top bar, the top section shows the liability limits, and then it shows cybersecurity event on the very next couple lines.
On the page that looks like where it says liability limits on the top, it's actually described there for you as well. That's I think what was
on that page. So it's not on the summary pages.
I mean the liability limits.
Okay, thank you.
Have you shared these cyber chips with the NSA?
Well, actually, I think the FBI pretty much did that. The speaker also showed us, by the way, and most people aren't aware of this, but if you tweet, it's public. And so while he was doing his presentation, he just searched outside the conference facility we were in to see who was tweeting, and found a whole bunch of folks and showed them on the screen, and then he said, let's trace one. And he went to his tweet and traced where he came from, because his GPS was enabled. So they could say he drove from Indiana down to Florida, which is where the conference was, and he tweeted along the way. He may have tweeted while driving, we don't know. But it's the kind of thing that you've got to be aware of. There's a lot of information out there that you inadvertently are putting up there. Password security is very important. Another part of our program, again for the new folks, is we do lots of HR consulting. We have that service included in our program. We have a whole bunch of safety training. We have e-learning that's available. We're going to develop some e-learning to support the cyber program. We're getting those courses out for all employees. And we're available to help you with managing the risks that cities face. We have a grant program we encourage you to take advantage of. I believe the fire department took advantage of our Stryker grants program a couple of years back, where we had a match program and they could get power cuts for transporting patients. And so that's the kind of stuff that we do, but these risk management grants are up to your imagination about what will help you reduce your risk. And if you can articulate a good risk reduction result from that effort, then we'll review it on staff and our member loss control committee. This is your pool. It's an interlocal cooperation agency. It's owned by the members. And so we're a quasi-governmental agency. Any other questions?
How much of an increase from the last time? Well, I guess the last year.
It's about a 6% decrease.
Decrease?
Right. Yes.
I can just make a comment. I've been working in this position, or in a public and attorney position now for almost 13 years, and I couldn't tell you how many times I've contacted their office for various questions or various issues that have come up, and they've been very responsive and very helpful. So I appreciate that service that you provide.
Any other questions? Are you pretty well done with your presentation here?
I'll leave at the end of pages that were missing from your program, and then the extras for the public, I'll be there as well.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Number 2, Councilman Westland, to inquire the City Corral Association President and Corral Law consideration to send those to leasing of corral number 23 for the violation of paragraph 15, which requires leasing to use the lease property so as to avoid interfering with the client's enjoyment and use of others, also use of their corral. What do you got there?
I'm Janet Crichton, president of the Association of Corral Boss, and I am recommending a letter be sent to the lessees in corral number 23 in regards to the violation that I'm bringing before you today. This individual is very disturbing and has no regard for anyone else's privacy or for their belongings as well. The corral is leased by her parents, and she is a young adult. She's 19, and the parents are wonderful people, but their daughter is not. So I am recommending that the city of Ely send this family a notice in regards to this violation. I am one of the persons that has been affected by her erratic behavior, as well as when
my name is Wendy Bendixson. I also own some corrals down at the city corrals. One of the problems that we've been having is this isn't not something that's new. This has been ongoing for about 2 years now. We have tried to be very patient. We have been very sympathetic to the fact that we know the individual and some of the problems she's been going through. And we really wanted this to work for her. The problem that we're having is that there's other issues going on that have recently happened, and not yeah, you guys know. It's just becoming very disturbing, and it's destructive to the city property as well as the personal property. And we have tried to resolve this in the past. We've had numerous police calls, several different reports filed with the police department, and we have sent out notices. What we do is that we have a tiered program that when we have an incident, we give a first notice. This is not the first one. We also give another notice, and then we go into the third, which we ask for removal. But we have actually gave out several notices, not just 3. We've given out 5 or 6 different notifications, as well as verbal and written. And we feel like we have extended quite enough courtesy without overextending to the point that we're putting ourselves in a jeopardy of people saying, well, you let this person get away with it, you let this person. And now we need to put our foot down before we start falling into a problem with other leasees down there.
Is there anything you want to elaborate on what you're doing, or you want to keep that kind of quiet?
You know what, right now it is under police investigation, so we are not at liberty to be able to say that in a public thing without the police department finishing their investigation. So we really don't want to slander anybody until it's finished. You guys are very much welcome to receive a police report if you would like. I don't mind, I can go get that for you.
Well, I'm thinking that
I think Kevin knows.
At
least
we've
one.
received the police reports.
Okay. So Kevin knows.
With regards to the one we've received.
To the one, to the right. You haven't received the police report,
Well,
which involves me.
And that was damage.
I have received 2. We've got 2 separate instances going on currently.
Okay.
So what are you asking of the council? To send a letter?
Well, you guys are the actual, you're like our landlord, so we're kind of coming to you to ask you to please let us, as the members of the council, to be able to remove this individual, because we need to...
Well, I'd have to know what they did in order to remove them.
we have vandalism of the city property down there.
And that's
between you
pushing
guys.
the Kevin.
Yeah, let Kevin answer this,
Yeah.
because it's illegal.
Yeah.
Because there are pending issues there, legal issues. Certainly, I would hope that we would hold off until some type of a conviction happens, if it happens. But I think the bigger thing, as I recall from reading the lease, and I went over that with Jan, the lease actually indicates that the city, upon the Corral Association bringing these to your attention, the city then would send the first notice. The corral, the lessee of that corral then has 30 days to correct the issue, and if they don't correct the issue, then we begin the termination.
And I was just about to go into those steps, but you've already pointed them out. So, and city council really hasn't had the opportunity to practice that in a long time.
And it is kind of an odd situation because we're not talking about the lessees. Problems are not with the lessees so much who are this person's parents. It's the daughter, the family member of the lessees. So.
And all of the animals within that corral belongs to the daughter. The mother and the father don't have any animals.
Kevin, that brings up another legal point there is that the person using the corral really is not on the lease and has no legal right to the corral in the first place.
Yes,
That may be an issue as well.
yes.
Certainly something to.
So we're bringing this to your attention in order to make a good decision. It doesn't matter when you send the notice out.